that is flying machine. It's a flying machine. Rear wheel drive as well, by the way, of course. That's what BMW do best. Streamline, just cutting through the air, no problem at all. Like a brick. And you know these little wind deflector things it's got on all the windows? Yeah, the one that was on that window isn't on there no more. Oh no, I think I just lost the wind deflector on the back window. No way! So, yeah, that is now on the floor somewhere in Milton Keynes. Bit annoying. Right, so I had a customer come down in the week and he was like, mate, I need a car. Got a couple of kids, got a budget of £5 to spend, right? I said, mate, we've got absolutely loads of cars. I must have something here for you. So I showed him, we just had this little Honda CR-V come in. I said, it's a decent car, Honda. And he was like, not really for me, mate. Fair enough. He did show a bit of interest in the Transit, but obviously that one's not for sale. He then showed a bit of interest in the BMW Z4, and I was like, mate, you said you got a couple of kids. So then it got me thinking. So the Z4 is obviously a 6-cylinder engine, you know, it's BMW, it's German, it's solid. I thought, I've got the perfect car for this guy. This thing here, what a cool car. It's a BMW 7 Series. And his first reaction was, mate, surely you can't get that for less than £5 grand. And I thought, yeah, that's less than £5 grand, mate. And he goes, do you know what? Nah, that's an old banger. I thought, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? So, got me thinking, this car definitely needs to be the banger of the week. Do have a customer in the background and he likes to have a conversation. So I've just got to crack on. But he might wander over and just try and talk to me, but that's fair enough, you know, we're a car sales. That's what it's all about. So the customer that we were talking about, the £5 grand customer, he actually ended up buying a Vauxhall Mariva, petrol turbo engine, 63 plate. I suppose it's like each their own, all that. I personally would have gone for the BMW 7 Series. I'm not yet told you the price of this car. We'll talk about that shortly. We're also going to do a car vertical check to look at the background history of this car. So big shout out to Car Vertical for sponsoring this video. So this is the 3rd generation BMW 7 Series. The first one was like really sort of square looking, almost like a shark nose front on it. The second one was, they improved it so much in the 2nd generation. And then this is the 3rd generation. They were made from 1994 to 2001, so this is a really late car, being a 51 plate. I actually didn't even know they made them on a 51 plate. Now, engine variants, they made them as a, I think a 728i, which is obviously a 2.8 litre engine, a 730i, a 740i, which would have been a V8, and then a 750, which would have been the V12, which actually, that's what this car's pretty famous for. Tupac got shot dead in a 7 Series, claim to fame for the 7 Series. Also, it was a James Bond car as well, so they're a really good looking car. They're really well known. From my childhood, I think my dad had one back in the day. Right, they were a wicked car on the road. So this particular car is a 728, so it's the smallest one of the lot. 193 horsepower from the straight 6 engine, so it's got the traditional straight 6 engine under the bonnet, naturally aspirated. That is the sound that we know from BMW. We're going to start the engine shortly, and we're going to go for a little wander around it, because I need to show the interior, because this thing's got some proper cool features, all right? So it's actually a sport. Back then, the M Sports weren't called M Sports, they were just called Sports. So yeah, it's a sport. But you will notice that here, there, and everywhere over the car, we've got a couple of M badges, one on the front and one on the back, which, you know, let's go for a wander around the back, actually. This car it's also got the different wheel option. Now, we're going to struggle to get a spec list on this car because it's so old. I will do a HPI on it quickly as well, but I don't think HPI will have any spec on it. But then wheels, I'm pretty sure they came on, they were available in the 7 Series. They might have been on this car from factory, I don't know, but they're a lovely set of wheels. In fact, what size are they? 18-inch, mate. That's what she said. 18-inch wheels, big chunky rear tyres. If we come around the back, yeah, we've got a little M badge on the back. Shouldn't really be there. Maybe they've put it on there to cover the bit of rust it's got on the boot lid there. But overall, I think it's quite tidy, man. So someone's cut the exhaust tips into the rear bumper, which I think looks absolutely terrible. But it has got 4 exhausts, quite a nice feature. And I still think, considering the age and the mileage, which we've not yet talked about, it's looking quite nice. So let's hop in on the inside. So straight away, as soon as you open the door on this car, we are faced with loads of 90s features. It's got electric windows in the rear, which would have been a massive thing back in them days. It doesn't have a sunroof. How cool would it have been if it had a sunroof? I wish it had a sunroof. It doesn't have a sunroof, but it has got some nice things going for it. So yeah, really square buttons. It's almost got like a loose sort of feel to the leather, which is quite nice, gives it a cozy feel. Punter's on his way over, he might want to say hello. He might be looking for the toilet, who knows? So hop in on the driver's side, This steering wheel was a really nice feature on these BMWs. Wasn't available on all of the cars. Pretty sure it was only available on the later cars. I remember I actually had an E36 M3 about 15 years ago in Estral Blue, proper nice colour. But that car had this exact steering wheel. I always referred to it as a satellite steering wheel. I don't know if that's what it's meant to be called, but I really like that steering wheel. Really modern for its time as well. A couple of interesting facts about the BMW 7 Series, which I just found earlier whilst I was hunting around. The E38 7 Series was the first car available with curtain airbags. Yeah, interesting fact. It was also the first European car to offer satellite navigation. That is proper cool. This car doesn't have satellite navigation, I don't think, does it? Does it have satellite? No, but it all looks really quite nice in here. Similar sort of button layout as the E46 M3, which you lot know I absolutely love. And it was the first BMW to offer a built-in television, again, because this wasn't spec with the television option. It was probably more common in the 740s and the 750s, but yeah, that was amazing for a car of this age to have a built-in telly. Obviously it would have been analog aerial, not digital aerial, so you would have struggled to get signal anywhere you went, but it's brilliant that it had it. The 7 Series was only available as a saloon. They did a long wheelbase and a short wheelbase, this is of course a short wheelbase, and Tupac's car was, going back to Tupac's car, I was a big fan of Tupac back in the day. You know, he was the man, wasn't he? Yeah, his car was a long wheelbase. That was like the all singing, all dancing 750 IL, the big letter L on the back, and it basically just had longer back doors. So I think on that note, let's jump into the rear. We had a little quick look at the inside of the front. We didn't mention the armrest. Didn't actually mention the centre armrest, did I, Nick? Should have mentioned that, because in the centre armrest is, again going back to the era of the car, there was no Bluetooth phone, so it would have had a physical phone. It's actually got a charger, which I think is for a Nokia, I'm not certain, but you would have been able to plug your Nokia in, and that again would have been well ahead of time, and that is exactly what 7 Series are all about. So something I've not mentioned as well is when you turn the ignition on and turn the lights on, it's got angel eye headlights. That wouldn't have been a factory feature, that would have been an aftermarket feature. Back in the day, like when I would pass my test, me and my mates used to try and like retrofit angel eyes to a lot of our headlights. Just watch out, we've got a punter. Oh, sorry, yeah, you just pull it in and round to the car, watch out the back, yeah? Yeah, the angel eye headlights, what a feature on the car, and you know, it just makes this car look quite modern. And let me know in the comments below, I don't think this car looks too unattractive for the age of, like, I know this is a later reg, but these cars came out in 1994, so I'm guessing the facelifts would have come with a few colour-coded little extras, but nothing major. So we've done the front, we've done a little bit in the front, we're going to do more on that when I jump in there shortly. But in the back, tripod with camera bag, we've got camera up my bum, there she is, loads of cameras everywhere at the minute. Yeah, see, there ain't a crazy amount of legroom in here, so if you want it to be chauffeured round in one of these, you definitely would need to go for the long wheelbase option, which would have just had longer doors and a bit more legroom in the back. But it ain't too bad. It would be even better if it didn't have a baggy roof lining, because the roof lining is sagging, which again, that would have been quite a common thing on these cars. I know E46 M3s, they're a nightmare for that, but it's got a little ashtray in the rear, electric window switch in the rear, remote central locking as well is something that this car would have had. Let's do a quick hashtag key check whilst we're on that note. And I'm guessing there might have been options to have maybe heated seats in the rear. I'm not certain on that, but possibly. Has it even got heated seats in the front? Don't look like it has. I can't believe that. How is this car? Must have. Must have. We'll check that out shortly. But quick hashtag key check. There she is, the wonderful key. Exactly the same key as the E46 M3, which I think is pretty cool. And a few little BMW logos and stuff on the door sills, all right? So I think what we're going to do now is, I've not even started the engine yet. I've not showed you what this thing sounds like. Beautiful straight six engine under the bonnet. Going to jump in, quickly pull up HPI, get that bit out of the way, do the car vertical checks. I want to see if there's any horrible background stories with this car, and then we need to talk about values, because I've not even mentioned what this car is worth, all right? So let's jump in. Oh, and how have I not even mentioned it? We're going to go for a little drive in it. We're going to do draggy times, because that's standard stuff on this channel, 20 to 70 miles an hour, and see how it compares. It's only 193 horsepower, so it ain't massive power, and it weighs, I don't know what it weighs off the top of my head, but there you go. But we've still got to do it, all right? Standard stuff on this channel. Let's jump in, do the car vertical check, and hit the road. That's it. Just little things like the door handles. I just think they look quite modern for their time. I do love all these little features. The door lock knobs, they were They must have been unique to the 7 Series. I don't feel like I've ever seen them before. Little chrome trim between the door cards and the window as well. Just nice little features. I doubt it's got double glazed windows. It doesn't look like it's got double glazed glass, but forget about that. Got an electric steering column. No way, that is quality. Check that out. Let's start the engine and show you what it sounds like. Sophisticated, I think that's the right word to use for the sound. It sounds sophisticated, it sounds solid as well. It's probably what you'd expect from a old German 6-cylinder beast. But yeah, let's give it a little rev as well. It's a little bit slow to respond, but it's revving nice. No horrible smoke coming out the back either. All looks quite healthy and sounds good as well. It's an automatic gearbox, which you'd expect for this type of car. Let's talk about this type of car quickly. I love a luxury car. Like, I am currently, should I say on the hunt? Is that the right thing to say? I've mentioned it a few times. I like luxury cars, yeah, and I want a daily driver. I want a diesel car, strangely. I have actually been looking at 730Ds, like the newer cars, because I just like a big, fat, comfortable, luxurious car that ain't terrible on fuel. I loved my M5. That was like the dream car, but daily driving a V8 obviously I loved it. I loved the power delivery and all that. It was a great car, best all-rounder on the road. If you're looking for the dream car, go and buy yourself an F90 M5. In fact, there's an F90 5 Series there. I've been looking at them as well. But yeah, I do love this type of car. I love what it offers. It's got sort of status, road presence, and massive amounts of luxury. So window switch is sort of popping out a little bit there. Heating is on. That definitely doesn't have heated seats. I can't believe that. This armrest is a serious feature. It's got like 2 sides to it, and then it's got the little cassette there for your mobile phone, which has got a cable. It's actually got a cable. Look at that. Not that a cable's even an unheard of thing nowadays, because cables are everywhere, but it's got like a coily cable. Yeah. I like that. I love all these little old features. And what is funny as well, there seems to be ashtrays everywhere. You got one there, you got ashtrays in the back, and I think there's another one there. Or is that just like a cubby hole? But I love how they all work. So what we'll do is we'll leave the engine running, let it get warm, and we will put up HPI quickly. Here we go then, YF51 KVY BMW 728i Sport Auto, 3 former keepers in silver, 2.793 cc's. MOT details, MOT until the 13th of the 11th 2023, so it's got a new MOT on it. And then if we head over to Car Vertical, because that's like the more in-depth check, HPI is just going to give us really basic information, whereas Car Vertical, shout out to them, I will link them in the description below. I've been working with them a lot over the last few weeks, couple of months now, and yeah, their checks are just so in-depth. All right, so I always say it, don't matter who you are, if you're buying a used car, specifically not if you're not buying a used car and it's not from a dealership, do a Car Vertical check. Do some kind of check. I'm not saying just do Car Vertical. I would recommend them, but it's just worth doing. I do it on every single car I buy. I do background checks. It's just basics, yeah? Absolute basics. And you're gonna find out things like, is the mileage correct? In this case, it is. By the way, this car's done 167,000 miles. 167,000 miles, but it's genuine mileage. It ain't terrible mileage for the age of the car, and it has got a green tick there on the Car Vertical check. Has it ever been stolen? No, because it's got a green tick there. Accidents, finance, it's all clear from all of this stuff, and it gives you a whole timeline, which I've mentioned in previous videos, just showing you when the car was born, the 1st of the 1st, 2001, 01. What a birthday. What a lovely birthday. You'll never forget the 7 Series' birthday, would you? So, and it just shows you a timeline, month to month, or say month to month, visit to where it's been, nail in offside tyre back in 2008, and it just shows you a whole timeline of where the car's been, what it's had done throughout its life. Stolen vehicle check as well, it checks multiple countries, always important. The mileage check, and it just shows you a graph the whole way down from when the car was born. I say born, you like to use the word born, it's not really born, manufactured, date of first reg, which is all good. Damage is all good, checks multiple countries for damage. It's just so extensive, shows market values there, which I completely disagree with. Sorry, Car Vertical. The approx market value of this car is £1,000, but when the seller is a company, £1,000 810. We're going to go to Auto Trader shortly and have a little look at 7 Series BMs to prove them wrong. To be fair to Car Vertical with this valuation is every single valuation on the market, petrol light just came on, every single valuation on the market will struggle to correctly value a car of this age. It's really hard. It's just sort of each their own. And I suppose the condition of the car would reflect its value massively. Like, I know that does in any case, but with this car in particular, this could be near on scrap, couldn't it? It's just hard to say without seeing it. So it just gives you a few hinters there as well. Check the condition of the tyres, be aware of head gasket failure, check bonnet, check all fluid levels under the bonnet, check the colour of the exhaust smoke, which I mentioned, check brake pads. Just so many little hinters there as well. All right, so Car Vertical, shout out to them. I will link them in the description below. Use my code CCD on checkout to get a little discount off your car checks, but definitely do it if you are buying a used car. Right, so we've done the engine start, we've done the revs, we've done all of that. We haven't yet done Auto Trader. So you can see this morning I was literally looking at 530Ds from 2018. I couldn't believe how cheap they are. Well, I say cheap, I use cheap like it's not a lot of money, but you can get one for about 15-16 grand. One of them, that's crazy. Here we go then. So I'm literally just looking at BMW 7 Series with a petrol engine up to 2001. So that's exactly of course where this car falls. Cheapest one on the net there is a 728i, not a sport, so it must be an SE with some pretty basic wheels. 2495 that's advertised for. That is a 2001 Y-Reg, so it's quite a late car as well. Looks pretty good value. There's another one there at 2995, a 728i. Again, it's not a sport, it's just an SE. Another one there with 180,000 miles, a 740i. Again, not a sport, it's just an SE. And another one, so the cheapest sport is our one there at 3.5 grand. And yeah, obviously this has done 167,000 miles. You know, it looks so much better than all the other ones. Look how basic that looks. The thing with a 7 Series is, oh, that steering wheel, that is nowhere near as nice, is it? Yeah. But what I was going to say is, the thing with a 7 Series is, a car of this age with this big petrol engine, what purpose has it got? Who actually wants this car apart from Calvin to have a laugh with it on YouTube? I don't know, it ain't really got much more of a purpose, but I think it's a cool car. So I think what I need to do before I hit the road is I want to park it next to the 5 Series just to demonstrate. That ain't even my 5 Series, I don't know whose it is, but I'm going to park it right next to it. We're going to look at the profiles of both cars to see how much they differ. Like, the BMW 7 Series is of course the biggest saloon car in the BMW range, and that there is a 5 Series. That'd be interesting to see if this is smaller or bigger than the modern 5 Series. Let's go have a look. So if we wander to the front, yeah, I think they're pretty much bang on, isn't they, at the front? And if we go to the rear, let's have a little look. Oh my God, they are identical, aren't they? That is basically the same size. The old 7 Series is the same size as the new 5 Series, isn't it? Look at that. In fact, if you sort of stand here, you wouldn't even know there's a 5 Series behind it, would you? Look how good that car looks. Anyway, let's hit the roads. Oh, there's the punter. The one who likes to chat. Nice guy, lovely guy. He's bought a car as well, but it's Toyota RAV4. They're such a good car, aren't they? Toyota RAV4 XFR 2008. I wonder how much money that was. Look how smooth this car is. I'm kind of expecting that it might break or be broken. You never know, it might be something wrong with it. Gearbox, but that's an old gearbox, done a lot of miles. Is it going to be smooth? I doubt it's going to be smooth, but so far, it seems to be alright. What a nice driving position. It's such a relaxed, such a shame it ain't got heated seats. Surely it's got heated seats. Let me just... Oh, mate. I'm just having a quick look at the Draggy leaderboard. Let's see if we can beat the BMW 420i Grand Coupe. Yeah, that's like a proper modern car. I think that's like a 2016 reg car. That's got 188 horsepower, and that done 20 to 70 mile an hour in 9.01 seconds. So we'll do a little drive first, make sure it's capable of doing draggy times, and providing it is, we'll see if we can beat the BMW 420i Grand Coupe. Yeah. Similar horsepower, similar, 188, 193. It's probably ain't even got 193 nowadays anymore even. Doesn't feel like it has. I mean, it ain't slow, but it's definitely not fast. It's got sports mode. It's got sports mode on the gearbox. DS on the dash. Mate, that is a flying machine. It's a flying machine. Rear wheel drive as well, by the way, of course. It's what BMW do best. streamlined, just kiting through the air, no problem at all. Like a brick. Kiting through the air like a brick. I mean, yeah, it's smooth, very luxurious, high quality. Can't believe mate he bought a Meriva when he could have bought a 7 Series BM. Like, this is so much better than a Meriva. Does it slide out when you go around corners? No chance, mate. Absolute no chance. It would have been nice if it had sat nav. Not that it probably wouldn't have been any good, but it would have been a nice feature, wouldn't it? So I think I've seen enough. I've felt enough. I'm quite happy. The gearbox is surprisingly wonderful. Like, it ain't the most responsive gearbox in the world, but it ain't giving me whiplash and it ain't knocking or doing any horrible stuff. So 10 out of 10 to the gearbox. 5 stars, 10 out of 10, however you want to rate it. Full traction around the bend there. Right, yeah, I think what we can do is we're gonna hit the dual carriageway and do draggy time. Let's do it. You know what, I just thought I'd check and see if it's got double glazing windows, because I mentioned that earlier, and it doesn't have. And I then went on to, this was all off cam by the way, to check if the rear windows work, the electric windows, because I'm still quite impressed that it's got rear electric windows. Back in them days, cars generally just had wind-up windows, front and rear. So to have electric in the rear, that was a big thing. So I opened up the rear window there, because there was like a little creaking noise. I thought, maybe the window don't work. I opened it, and you know these little wind deflector things it's got on all the windows? Yeah, the one that was on that window isn't on there no more. Oh no, I think I just lost the wind deflector on the back window. No way! Because that was the thing that was creaking. So yeah, that is now on the floor somewhere in Milton Keynes. Bit annoying. 3, 2, 1. So the BMW 420i done it in, what did it do it in? 9.01. Then the Jeep Wrangler's just below that, done it in 9.6 seconds. This is going to be the slowest car on the drag leaderboard, I think. But don't get me wrong, it's doing it smoothly and wonderfully, but it's not doing it fastly. Oh, I added Lee on the end. You know what I mean? Let's have a little look. Wow. Run number 1 done 11.06. Let's do two more runs to see if we can beat that. So run number 2, we done 20 to 70 miles an hour in 9.85 seconds. That would not have beaten the Jeep Wrangler Sahara, and it was nowhere near beating the BMW 420i Grand Coupe, right? Then, ladies and gentlemen, mainly gentlemen, because the majority of you are supposedly male on my channel. The third and final run, we've done it quicker again. The question is, did we beat the Jeep Wrangler? That's the big question. That's a modern car, 2.7 litre diesel engine, you know, it's got some serious road presence as well. That done it in 9.6 seconds. This just done it in 9.56 seconds. So we beat the Jeep Wrangler. Another car that I thought was quite impressive that it beat is the Range Rover Vogue that I've done a video on recently. It was a 2.7 litre diesel, I think. I can't remember. 2007 model anyway, but it beat that as well. So quite impressive considering how slow it feels. It doesn't feel fast at all, but it's done a reasonably good time, all right? So what's my summary of the BMW 7 Series? I think for me, I just think they look absolutely gangster. Like, this is such a good looking car for the age. Road presence is on point, and the fact that they were on James Bond, you know, it's Tupac died. I know it's a sad story, man. I don't want to talk about Tupac dying like it's a positive, but it was just wicked that he actually was in one of these cars. It makes this car an absolute legend. I like this particular one because it's got the nicer wheels on it, and I just think, yeah, for the period of time that this car came out, it's better than you'd think it would be. So yeah, I'm not sure what its purpose is nowadays, but I quite like it. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up, leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, do me a favour, hit like, hit subscribe if you're new. Pop back on Sunday because this was this week's banger of the week. A bit harsh really, but we're going to call it the banger of the week. And this Sunday, well, this Sunday was meant to be my favourite purchase of the week, but there's actually been quite a drastic change of plans. So this Sunday's video, well, just look out for it, all right? Do you know what, before we end this video, I need to find the wind deflector because it feels a bit random. I've got 3 wind deflectors on now and there's obviously that one missing. So I know where it came off. We're gonna head back there now. Hopefully it's not broken. It's well, we'll see when we get there. Right, surely we've got to be able to find him. Oh. He was on it, wasn't he? Right. Oh, there's a man collecting rubbish. No way. Let's go find him. Imagine it. I had a bit of plastic fall off my car. I don't... No way, that's it. What a chance in that. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's brilliant. There we go. So we've got the wind deflector and it's, you know what? It's broken. Oh my. Do you know what? Changing the subject slightly though, that's just my luck. I'm just one of them people. Look how good the 7 Series looks. It looks so good parked there, man. So let's go and see if we can, this video's gone on forever, but we're gonna go and see if we can get the wind deflector back on, yeah? Nick, do you wanna go just do the window up? In fact, if I hold the camera, get the window done up. Go on, all the way, all the way. That's in, it's in. But if you undo the window, it's definitely going to fall off again. But shout out to the rubbish collector. You know what? Shout out to him for doing whatever he's doing anyway. Like, the guy looks like he's just voluntary just cleaning up rubbish. And thanks to him, we now have 4 wind deflectors on the 7 Series. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.